Alright, Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKadosh, the ones of the apostles, salute to you brothers, teaching the word in sincerity and in truth. I was watching the news, and on the news, pretty much what they had on there was, they were showing a particular, I don't know if it's the windmere thing that's popping up, or Northern Ireland, because that's what they were saying, Northern Ireland. If you speak to an Irishman, over they'll tell you there's one island. Or, now, you know what I've noticed, that if you watch, I was watching a regional news, regional news, they won't have, they might bring something out that won't hit national news, or won't hit, or you won't be able to find it, because it would just be like some regional news that they just filmed, and then that was that. So right now you've got a situation with which pretty much they've been pumping sewage into the UK, into the river supply and all that. That's a big thing going on. But there's a lot of things, different things happening. Let's see this John Lewis estate answer. This weren't it. But let's see what this. John Lewis has sent villagers in Hampshire months worth of bottled water after fertilizer polluted the water supply at the retailer's nearby estate. Now, the one I had seen had some kind of algae built up, and in the supply some sort of algae. Let's see what this does. Okay, let's go out. So you have to pay. You have to just to read the reports. You have to pay on some of these websites. So Europe's got polluted water supplies, and this is why we say the earth is defiled under the inhabitants of wrath, because it's jacked up out here. And I'm just covering England, but this is, let's do this. Let's click this. European Climate Infrastructure and Environment Executive Agency. Europe's water is already under pressure from climate change, surging demand, and crumbling infrastructure, not to mention the dangers of chemical pollution. We meet the life projects keeping our water supplies clean and safe. The water supplies ain't clean and safe. That's the whole point. What I'm going to do, let's do this. Let's come out of this, because that's something else here. Let's check this. Now, there was one where I was reading it before I put this video. It's just not going to allow me to read it already. I have to be a member just to get the information. You see what we're dealing with? And a lot of these are just like English news sites. They want you to pay, or just to read them. It's just a store or log in. Fears for windmere as test reveals chemical pollution. Now, there's one where they were just blaming. They were putting the blame on the civilians. So, or homeowners and shit, they were saying that there's some sewage water going into rivers. and it's their job to, I don't know if it's to call the right companies, organise a fix or pay for something to get. I'm not sure, I didn't read the thing, but they were, putting blame on homeowners because there's so much pollution going on that this place is just an abomination. Pretty much this place is an abomination. Study finds the UK's inland bathing sites are polluted with a perfect storm of chemicals and antibiotic resistant genes. This one goes back to 2024 December. The University of York study found sites popular with swimmers around the UK to be suffering from pollution with bacteria and chemicals alongside resistant genes that could limit the effectiveness of modern medicine. This is a polluted place. Here it is, you walk past the city, go to your town centre, and the waterfalls and all the things are all polluted. They all look filthy. Streams, rivers, all going through your country. How can you have a system like that? And we all know who it's coming from. Because in the ancient world, it wasn't like that. Now in the kingdom, we've got promised. Well, we actually got land flowing with milk and honey. Abundant lands, beautiful lands. Let's do this. Researchers worked with surfers against sewage, watershed investigations, and a range of community groups across the UK to discover designated inland bath sites in the UK are polluted with a cocktail of pollutants, including pharmaceuticals, pesticides, personal care products, chemicals, and burning fuel, and antimicrobial resistant genes. So they tested like certain rivers. Yeah, it's going into, and what's what we got here? The River Ned, Knaresborough, Yorkshire, and the Sheep's Green on the River Cam in Cambridge. So they've gone around the country in Yorkshire, Cambridge, and saying 48, 100 chemicals, pollutants. Let's get this one. Let's read this. 33. Let's read Isaiah. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. So the earth is defiled, right? And the rulers of the darkness of this world, they're polluting the earth. If you watch any show about any major corporations, different companies, oil companies, this company, that company, you find out that they're destroying the earth. That you go, oh no, they ain't like a top company. There's one documentary I was watching, and they've got them producing different clothes, and they're just dumping the chemicals in the river in the third world countries. Then all these materials and stuff you're wearing, you get them, ship them over, and they'll charge hundreds of pounds, thousands of pounds or something that was made cheap in a factory somewhere. And then in the process, they polluted the environment and stuff like that. Look, check it out. The information's out there now, so before it was like, oh, mate, I can't see it. The information's out there. Let's go back. Let's see what else. Okay, I didn't click this one. And then that, can you, let's see. England's swimming water is 5 times more likely to be polluted than EU, research finds. Experts warn country is in danger of becoming dirty man of Europe as it falls to bottom of bathing water leaderboard. Okay, you can't read this one. Can you read it? Okay, you can. Alright, let's check. So let's go back up top. Thing is, when Brits want to enjoy themselves, they don't, you know, they go abroad, you know. This ain't really saying too much, but so they're trying to say that bathing water quality in Europe, for the most part, yeah, I'm not really gonna. This is just. Let's do this. In the EU, countries are due to update their water regulation and filter out contaminants from chemicals, pharmaceuticals, and pesticides under the Urban Waste Water Treatment Directive. Well, let's do this. Well, okay. Naomi Smith, chief executive of Best for Britain, which campaigns for closer ties between the UK and EU, said people are rightly appalled by the disgusting state of the UK's rivers, lakes, and beaches. Clean water should be guaranteed to all, and no man should have to risk their or their child's health simply by enjoying a swim. But they're pumping it out like, see, this is like you got like Goyam News, right? Because they actually just straight out are deliberately pumping sewage into waters and all that, on top of how it was already polluted in the first place. It's an agenda. So a lot of this robot media, it's where you gotta go to alternative news. Or if you find when they admit it, then you gotta like save it, pin it, because when you come back, it's like it didn't exist. And then that, oh well, look man, they straight out pumping. They were just dropping it in the just shit and all that, whatever, waste into different rivers. And you know that this kingdoms of Satan, because the same rivers that are jacked up, they'll make you actually have to drink from that. But that's what they do. They get rivers or whatever they get, and then they just say, "Oh, we'll filter it like a ship supply," and then that's what everyone will drink. Dying fish, polluted water, and a terrible stench. The French firm accused of dumping toxic waste in Colombia's wetlands. So the scripture says, we all know the scriptures. The earth is given what into the hands of the wicked. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So if you want to go for a swim, you better think twice. The French region has banned tap water 1 month ago. Is it a warning for the rest of Europe? Okay, so this windmill, let's see if I can catch what's going on up there. Windmill residents are once again being warned not to swim in England's largest lake after water quality tests at Waterhead found elevated levels of harmful bacteria associated with fecal matter. It is some radioactive and the wind, that was one of those nice spots, windmere and all of that. Pretty much. You go basically the way it's looking. If you go for a swim, man, you might jump out of that bad boy radioactive. The fish are gonna start popping up with 3 heads. All right, with that, I'm saying shalom.